Welcome to Cozy Coven Chats with Jenny C. Bell, where we explore the journey of the witch. Hello, and welcome to another Cozy Coven Chat. I am your hostess with the mostest. Just kidding, that's Elvira. Jenny C. Bell, and this is for the first week of March. So the week of March 1st, which, wild. Just wild. So let's start with our card. I'm back to tarot this month, and I'm using the Elemental North Tarot from US Games, which is really beautiful. They look like tattoos, best way to describe the artwork, and there's a combination of runes, and in fact, I'm actually going to read from the book because of that. And I picked Death for our week, and for me, this is a signpost or guidepost or checkpoint card because Death is my card of the year using numerology. And so this is my card of the year. And so whenever it pops up in a reading for me, I have to go back to, okay, this is like significant. This is a significant part of the year, or this has meaning for me. But the Death card's one of my favorites for lots of reasons, which I'll get to in a moment. So let me first read this and talk about the runes on the card. So Death represents the ultimate transformation, the complete end of something, and the beginning of a new state of being. And here we are at the beginning of a month. Sometimes the card indicates a literal death, but more often it is about endings. It is one of the most feared cards since no one likes change. However, we cannot begin a new phase in life without the end of an old one. In this image, the crow skull represents death. Growing out of it is an oak tree, a symbol of strength and stability. The white roses echo the white rose depicted on the Reaper's black flag in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And then the runes, and I don't know how to pronounce the runes, so don't come at me, okay? Naiad, N-I-E-D, indicates a time of patience, delays, and rest. And we've been talking about, in the previous episodes, about holding on to winter and holding on to rest. And so even though it's March, it's not yet spring, we're getting close, but it's not yet there. Wunjo, which is W-U-N-J-O, is the rune for joy. That's my rune of the year. And on this card is shown upside down. It is reversed because death is not often associated with joy. There are times when the death of something is considered good, for example, ending a toxic relationship. And I want to say it was the second week of February, we had that like rat mouse card of like the person that's not having a good moral compass. So I almost wonder if like when we put the boundaries into place, if that person kind of fell away. The other rune is Uruz, U-R-U-Z, is associated with strength, energy, drive, and endurance. And then the last one is Ing, represents a successful conclusion. Regardless of the specific circumstances, this card and rune are necessary conclusions that need to happen. So what I'm getting from this card is there's some important ending this week, which is interesting because the March 3rd full moon is a lunar eclipse in Virgo, and it's supposed to be a very deep release and a deep cleansing. So I feel like this is all aligning. We're still in Mercury retrograde, but we have this eclipse in Virgo, and it's this deep cleansing energy. Virgo is such a cleaning, cleansing sign. Virgo moons, Virgo season, I always want to clean and cleanse something. And there's a difference, right? Cleaning is physically cleaning, like scrubbing, vacuuming, mopping. Cleansing is energetically cleansing, right? Changing the energy, releasing the stagnant energy. And something I want to talk about is getting a message like this really makes me think this is a week to cleanse you and cleanse your space. So let's talk about some options. How to do that. Like, what are some different ways to do that? First thing I want to caution against or say that I think a lot of people new to witchcraft or new even to like new age spirituality or any of that or being witchy is they make the mistake of cleansing everything away. And so like when you cleanse a house, you're not supposed to get rid of the good energy. Right? And some people who are animists like have a house spirit or a spirit of the home. You don't want to get rid of that, right? You're here to, you're not wanting to bleach everything away. You're wanting to cleanse only the stagnant or the what's no longer serving you, the negative, the heavy, whatever. So let me say that that's really important. When you're cleansing yourself, it's the same thing. You don't want to get rid of your energy or get rid of like the good luck you have or the good momentum you have. You only want to cleanse away the negative or what's no longer serving you. So like when we cut cords, we say, thank you for cutting away all that's no longer serving me. Not thank you for cutting everybody out of my life. Right? Same with boundaries. Like the boundaries are there to make the relationship better, not cut people completely out of your life. Although you do have to do that sometimes. So when we're looking at like this week and we're looking at like death and we're looking at cleansing, we're looking at only getting rid of what's standing in the way of us thriving, the stagnation, right? The heaviness. And February was a very heavy month. Like everybody I talked to struggled. Everybody I talked to felt like just like January, it lasted forever. It felt unsettling. It felt anxious, felt depressive. Like so many people were not like loving February. And so let's get rid of that energy. It's the first of the month. So something that I like to do is release the month. So I will usually write down, like I'll journal, try to journal 10 things I learned, gained, or achieved, or I'm grateful for the month. So it puts me in a positive mindset. So I'll be like, okay, 10 things that went well in February for me personally. Then I will write down things that did not go well or the energy I had if I was sick, whatever. And then I will release those. So I usually will tear that paper up or I'll burn it or whatever. And then I release the month. I often sweep my front entryway, like of my house, my entryway. I don't have like a grand entryway. I don't have a foyer. I just have like a little entryway. I will sweep with my broom, my magical broom, the one that's not for cleaning, but you can use the one for cleaning and cleansing. It's fine. They can do double duty. I will sweep out the month. Be like, goodbye, February. And then I'll step outside and I'll clean the entryway, the outside entryway, I'll sweep, I'll wash the door. And then I will also, I have like a little house spirit outside, a little statue, I'll cleanse him. And then I will use anointing oil, redrawn on like protection runes, if you blow cinnamon on your door. And then I'll start to welcome in the next month with good energy, prosperity, fortune, whatever you're looking for. And then I'll kind of sweep into the house. So we're sweeping out the old, we're sweeping in the new. I like the journaling component because I feel like sometimes like a month can just seem like such a shit month. And you're like, God, this sucked. But then there's going to be something that was good. A month's a long time. So there's going to be things that did go well for you or made you smile or just a good movie you saw, whatever. It could be really like trite. Like I tried a new hamburger place. That was great. It doesn't have to be like life-changing big things. So focusing on that. So focusing on what you want to release, focusing on what you want to welcome in. I like to do simmer pots sometimes on the first of the month just to like bring in good energy. Sometimes I'll do a smoke cleanse. And I use my two go-tos for smoke cleanses are mugwort and rosemary, because I grow them both and they're both cleansing. As I've said on here, every herb is cleansing. You don't have to buy herbs. You don't have to every herb is cleansing. Trust me. And you just want to make sure it's something that's safe to burn. Because sometimes chances are if an herb is toxic to eat, it's toxic to burn. But, do your research. So, smoke cleanse, simmer pot cleanse, selenite wand. This requires no smoke, no simmer pot, very little effort. They are self-cleansing. They are cheap, inexpensive. Taking the selenite wand and you can walk in the corners of your home and wave it around, kind of like a priest would in a movie for an exorcism. You can also put it around your own body, your aura, do a cleanse that way, so cleansing yourself. You can apply like a smoke cleanse to yourself. You can use a salt bath as a cleanse for yourself. You can do a mindful shower as a cleanse for yourself. Like definitely we're getting this energy for this week to do some cleansing. So clear out the spaces, clear out the cookies, right? clear out your home, yourself, all of it. And journaling is a great way to figure out what needs to be cleansed and cleared. Also cards. You can use cards like, where in my life do I need cleansing? Where in my life am I facing a release? Very simple questions to ask, but effective, right? And then what happens when you ask those questions in the first card, you're like, I don't understand. Pull some more. Tarot especially, those cards are not really meant to be read in isolation. Like we're doing them here, we're doing a card a month, a card a week. But when it's like you're asking a question, like not just what do I need to know, but like an actual question, you need several cards to read the story. Like when you read a book, you don't just like read the beginning and you're like, I get it. You need like the whole plot. And so pulling like 3 or 4 cards per question, even in a spread, even if the spread is showing one card, you don't have to redo it that way. You can pull several, or a clarifying card. Like the first card, you're like, doesn't make sense to me. Pull another couple until they make sense to you, but only if they really don't make sense and not that you're denying the answer. Because we've all done that. We're like, nope, that's not what I wanted to hear. Let's try again. Okay. So we have this full moon. As I said before, eclipses are not regular full moons. So are we doing regular magic on this eclipse? No. No, we're not. We're doing something different. Are we making moon water? Up to you. But you need to label it as eclipse moon water because it's not going to act or behave energetically the same as regular moon water. And like I said before, some astrologers don't even like to be under eclipse energy. They think it's bad luck. So do go with your own intuition, but please do not treat it like a regular full moon. It's definitely eclipse. Definitely look at where Virgo is in your chart. Just kind of become aware of where that is because the eclipse is going to hit there for you. And let yourself step into this energy. We're starting to get towards spring and we have like this death card. We have this cleansing energy. We have this fresh start, but we have to let go of things, blocks. We have to release things in order to step into energy. So I think from now until the spring equinox, ask yourself, like, what is it that's blocking me? What am I holding on to? What's stagnant? What's heavy? What fears are rising? What anxieties, depression are coming up? What's in my way of manifesting, of being happy, of whatever? Fill in the blank. Whatever your intention is for this year, whatever you want out of 2026, what's in the way? And then how do you overcome that? How do you release that? So definitely looking into some of your release energy. In our coven, we are focusing on emerge, which is also like a form of release. So our theme for the month is emerge. And as I talked about, these are community-led themes. So these are community created. And for me, emerge just felt so right for spring because it's like we start to see the plants emerge, the animals emerge. We want to start to emerge. Like I often get a haircut in the spring, like, off come the giant sweatshirts and body blankets, start to emerge from our dens, start to come back out, want to be social again. It's also cyclical. So you might want to ask yourself, like, where are you emerging? And if you're still interested, please join our coven. The sale's still on. Go to jennysbell.com and you'll see about it. Just to remind you, I'll be at Spirit Northwest at the end of April. So in Portland, if you want to join me, I'd love to meet you. I'm very open and excited to meeting people, building community. And then I also want to talk a little bit how on this podcast I will be talking more about my next book, Divergent Witchcraft. And we're going to take it chapter by chapter and really kind of like learn about some of the things in the book through the podcast as a way to help you get excited for the book, but also as a way to share the knowledge within the book here in this space that we have. So those are some things to look forward to. I asked you a lot of questions already, but let's go for some more. So what are you releasing? What needs cleansing? What is emerging for you at this time? And as always, I hope you have a wonderful week and blessed be. As always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe and share with a friend. And be on the lookout for my books, Spirit Crystals, Discover Your Crystal Guide for Healing and Empowerment, and Divergent Witchcraft, an inclusive approach to making magic. And if you want to connect with me more, go to jennycbell.com, JennyCbell.com, to learn about our coven, to learn how to follow me on Substack, and also how to get a reading from me. Blessed be witches.